Shri Chaitanya Mantam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapatantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapatakamanam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunathapitam Tam Sujivam Satvaitam Savadutam Bharijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vidamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sati Devi Parvami Hari Priye Vanchakalpata Rubhasya Kripa Sindhuvaiva Cha Patitana Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So recite the two verses which are generally recited before going into Bhagavatam. Narayan Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirieta Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Seveya Bhagavate Yutam Shloke Bhakti Vauti Nashtaki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So we'll be reading verse number 6 and 7. So I'll read the Sanskrit and the translation. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Yashya shana viyogena loko hi apriya darshana uktena rahito hi esa mrittaka prochyate yatha. Translation. I have just lost him, whose separation for a moment would render all the universes unfavorable and void, like bodies without life. Anybody likes to read the purport? If someone is about?
I'll read, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Factually, for a living being, there is no one dearer than the Lord. The Lord expands himself by innumerable parts and parcels as Shvamsa and Vibhishna Sa. Paramatma is a Shvamsa part of the Lord, whereas the Vibhinasma Sa parts are the living beings. As the living being is the important factor of the material in the material body, for without the living being, the material body has no value. Similarly, without Paramatma, the living being has no status quo. Similarly, Brahman or Paramatma has no locus standi without the Supreme Lord Krishna. This is thoroughly explained in the Bhagavad Gita. They are all interlinked with one another, or interdependent factors. Thus, in the ultimate issue, the Lord is a summum bonum, and therefore the vital principle of everything.
Yeah, and also the text 7, yeah? Yat samsaya drupada geham upagatanam rajtam sayam vara mukheswara durmadanam tejoritam khalu maya abhihatascha matsya Sachkritena Dhanusha Agigata cha Krishna. Translation. Only by his merciful strength I was able to vanquish all the lusty princes assembled at the place of King Drupad for the selection of the bridegroom. With my bow and arrow, I could pierce the fish target and thereby gain the hand of Draupadi. Okay, you can read the purport again, Mother.
Purport? Yes, purport. Draupadi was the most beautiful daughter of King Drupada, and when she was a young girl, almost all the princesses desired her hand. But Drupada Maharaj decided to hand over her daughter to Arjuna, only and therefore contrived a peculiar way. There was a fish hanging on the inner roof of the house under the protection of a wheel. The condition was that out of the princely order, one must be able to pierce the fish's eyes through the wheel of protection, and no one would be allowed to look up at the target. On the ground, there was a water pot in which the target and the wheel were reflected, and one had to fix his aim towards the target by looking at the trembling water in the pot. Maharaja Drupada knew, Maharaja Drupada well knew that only Arjuna or alternatively Karna could successfully carry out the plan, but still he wanted to hand his daughter to Arjun. And in the assembly of the princely order, when Drishtadyumna, the brother of Draupadi, introduced all the princesses to his grown-up sister, Karna was also present in the game. But Draupadi tactfully avoided Karna as the rival of Arjuna, as she expressed her desires through her brother Drishtadyumna that she was unable to accept anyone who was less than a Kshatriya. The Vaishyas and the Sudras are less important than the Kshatriyas. Karna was known as the son of a carpenter, a Shudra. So Draupadi avoided Karna by display. When Arjuna, in the dress of a poor Brahmana, pierced the difficult target, everyone was astonished, and all of them, especially Karna, offered a stiff fight to Arjuna, but as usual, by the grace of Lord Krishna, he was able to emerge very successful in the princely fight, and thus gain the valuable hand of Krishna or Draupadi. Arjuna was lamentingly remembering the incident in the absence of the Lord, by whose strength only he was so powerful. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So first of all, we'll discuss the verse number 6. Now, if you go to the first line, it says, factually a living being, for a living being, there's no one dearer than the Lord. Actually, people don't have knowledge about Krishna. If they know, they will love Krishna like anything. Most people do not know that Krishna is the Supreme Father. He's the origin of all, the cause of all causes, and no one is a better well-wisher than Krishna. In the Bhagavatam, it says, Nate Swartha Gatim Hi Vishnu Durasahi Bahirat Bharina. Prahlad Maharaj says that people have forgotten the self-interest, which is supposed to lie in Vishnu, means Krishna. But people don't know this. All the interest, the main interest should be in Krishna. If you keep your main interest in Krishna, then you see how much Krishna becomes dear to you. You'll become dear to Krishna and Krishna will become dear to you. That is what Srila Prabhupada is saying. That actually Krishna is the most lovable subject or an object for any living entity. If one knows him in reality, then if you love Krishna, you're going to love everyone. That is for sure. And that is a Shastric injunction. It says that anyone who becomes a dear devotee of Krishna, pure devotee, he becomes dear to everyone and everyone becomes dear. Why? Because he has a connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Now Krishna expands himself in many, many ways. So here in the purport, 2 words are mentioned, Swamsa, Vibhinamisham. Now Samsa refers to the Lord in the heart, Paramatma. So many people look very far for Krishna, but Krishna is very close to you. He's also in your heart. So in the Brahma Samhita, it says, Golakeva Nivashati Akhil Atma Puto. Though he's far, far away, he's also very close to you. It's also explained in Bhagavad Gita, if you go to the 8th chapter. Ano Aniyan Mahato Mayan. He can become very small and enter into your heart. And Mahato Mayan means he can become so big. That is Krishna. That's why Krishna is Achintya, inconceivable, very, very inconceivable. If you know this fact, then you love Krishna more than anyone else in this entire creation, even more than the most loving person you have in this material world. Because whatever relationships we have in this world, They are temporary. Srila Prabhupada calls them fallible soldiers. They will fall anytime. Or maybe they will live and you will fall anytime. Means we are going to, our body is going to be vanquished one day. We'll drop one day. But Krishna remains your eternal friend. So Swamsa means Paramatma, is an expansion of Krishna. So we have many times discussed three Vishnus. Karanda Dakshai Vishnu, Karanda Dakshai Vishnu, Garbha Dakshai Vishnu, and Shira Dakshai Vishnu. Paramatma means Shira Dakshai Vishnu. Because when Brahma creates so many beings, then Krishna accompanies every living entity, who is then called Vibhin Amsha. Samsa means Paramatma. Vibhin Amsha is made up of two words. Vibhin Amsha means separated from Krishna, but not broken. He has a relation with Krishna. It's only that he is forgotten. So I think everyone is clear with these two words. Swamsha, Vibhin Amsha. And then it says that without soul in our body, there's no life. And without super soul, the life is incomplete. Without, if one does not know that there is also super soul, means he's not very learned. But Krishna is in the heart of everyone as super soul also. Very nicely explained in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The chapter is called Kshetra Guna Yoga, in which Kshetra Guna means the knower of the body. And if you read the couple of verses right in the beginning, Srila Prabhupada says that Kshetra Guna refers to soul. And we all know our own body. But Krishna as Swamsha, he is also Kshetra Guna, who knows all the bodies. Earlier I gave you an example that if you get cut on your hand, you feel the pain. Others cannot feel the pain, but only you will feel the pain. But that pain is also perceived by the Lord in the heart. At the same time, someone else also may get hurt and Krishna will also feel the pain. That means Krishna understands the pain and pleasures of everyone, whereas we as Vibhinabcha or as a soul only can feel the pleasure and pains and pleasure of one body in which we are existing. I'll give you another example. Like you may have heard sometimes your friend will say, oh, I had an accident. Instead of saying that my car had an accident, most people will say, I had an accident. But really speaking, you were in the car. Not necessarily, in most cases, you may be hurt, may not be hurt. But it does, since you were in the car, then there is a relationship. That's why mostly we say, oh, I had an accident. So many times we say, oh, but you are safe and okay. He said, yes. Then he'll say, I had an accident in a car, or I fell from a motorcycle, or in some sports. But most people forget soul and super soul. So there can't be existence of Brahma, Paramatma without Krishna. Earlier, many times, several times we gave the example of the sun. That the sun can be known in three different features. Maybe you try to look at the sun through a dark glass, looks like a disk. Another feature of the sun is the sunshine. And the third feature of the sun is the sun God himself. So Krishna can be compared to be sun God, where sunshine is called to be Brahma Jyoti, or is also called Brahma. And the disk of the sun, which you can see in your with your naked eyes, or with your eyes, is like the Lord in the heart, very small. So these three features all emanate from Krishna, or are also Krishna, identical to Krishna. So here the main point is Brahma, or the Brahman effulgence, or the Lord in the heart cannot have separate existence without having connection with Krishna. No sun means no light, or no disk of the sun, or no sun God, but there is sun. The similar, because Krishna is there, Krishna's effulgence is everywhere, impersonally. And Krishna is there in the heart of everyone, be it even a small insect. So when you get this knowledge, your love for Krishna or your understanding towards Krishna will become broader and you love Krishna more. So they are interlinked to each other. Vadanti tattva vidas tattvam yat jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwan iti sapyate. Very famous shloka of Srimad Bhagavatam. And Krishna is samam bonam. From everything is emanating from Krishna. Lord Brahma, in the opening prayers of Brahma Samhita, he says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadi Radhi Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. To the minutest detail, nothing can happen without Krishna. And he is cognizant of everything, even to the minutest detail. This is a big difference between us and Krishna. For example, you are in honor of a huge institution, maybe like an industry. You may have all the inventory of your factory. You may be having knowledge of all the workers working with you and everything that is going in the factory. But at the same time, you cannot be in the heart of each worker, or you cannot be there with each machine, what is happening in the machine. Not possible. Whereas Krishna is a person who knows everything, even to the detail that what is in your heart, how everything is happening, and what is going to happen the next. That's in Bhagavad Gita, it says, I know everything that has happened in the past, what is happening now, and then what is going to happen in the future. Nobody knows except Krishna. So no one can say that I am even, maybe even 1% of Krishna. No way. Krishna is Krishna. Though he is eternal living being among all of us, even we are all eternals. But Krishna is the supreme eternal. If someone has the Bhagavad Gita, please open the Bhagavad Gita. You can see this verse Srila Prabhupada quotes in the chapter 2. I think in the verse number 2. Anybody likes to join in?
Chapter 2, Prabhuji?
Sorry,
Chapter
2:12. 2:12. Have we found the verse? 2:12. Go to the purport. You see the verse in the italics, Nitya Nityanam, in the purport.
Nitya Nityanam Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman Tam Atmas Twam Ye Nupasyanti Diraj Tesam Santi Sasvati Te Nithare Sham.
So the meaning is Krishna is Nitya. Nitya means individual. And we are many Nityanam. Krishna is a singular person creating so many. So we belong to the plural category, Nityanam. And Nitya means one person. And the next word it says Chetana, Chetana. Krishna is one Chetan. He is the one, the source of consciousness. And he has created so many beings who are also conscious. Again, Krishna is Chetan means singular. And Chetana means plural. We living beings belong to the plural category. Now in the second line, it says, Eka Bahunam Yovidadati Kaman. It says one person, Krishna, is maintaining everyone. He is one eternal, taking care of all the eternals. He is one consciousness responsible to give consciousness to so many conscious beings. So if one has this knowledge, then he's actually indeed a learned person. Like in this case in Bhagavad Gita, we find Krishna is there, Arjuna is there, and millions of soldiers are there. So Krishna is different from Arjuna and all the kings assembled. So the teaching of our Gita begins by the famous verse, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor in the future will all these kings cease to exist. So Krishna differentiates himself from all others. So the Mayavadis, they make it kind of a hodgepodge, that everything is one. Everything is not one. Otherwise, Krishna would have not written like this. Krishna makes it very clear. Never was there a time when I was not there. That means he himself. Nor you means Arjuna. Nor in future, all these kings will cease to exist. So this should be understood very nicely. If you understand this particular verse, at least you know thesis of our Gita properly. And this verse also reflects things related to reincarnation indirectly. Because when Krishna says all these kings will also exist in the future, it means they will also live in the future. They are all going to die in the battlefield. Where are they going to go? They will have another life. So it has a very deep meaning inside. So anyway, this text 6 explains Krishna, Arjuna is lamenting, I lost my friend Krishna, and separation from him would render all universes unfavorable and void. Because it's like a blank word for Arjuna. Krishna was everything for Arjuna, everything you can say. Now without him, it's like he is living, but he has no life. His very life was Krishna. So any questions on this before we go to text 7? Anybody would like to ask any questions? I think everyone is clear. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, can you please give him some example of Swansa and Vibhinansa, please?
Yeah, Swamsa means Paramatma. There's Paramatma in everyone, which is who is Krishna. And Vibhinamsha means separated jivas. Jivas are called Vibhinash. We all are Vibhinamsha. Vibhinamsha means separated from Krishna. Earlier, I had given an example of fire. When the fire is burning, on the edge of the fire, you can see actually millions of sparks. But the sparks retain heat and light, provided they remain in the light, in the region of the light. The moment they are thrown away from the light, they start extinguishing. So we are not extinguished. We are in the fire, but far from the original fire. So by practicing Krishna consciousness, we can return to the fire, or we can return to our constitutional position. We all know our constitutional position is Jivira Sarupai Krishna Nityadas. Krishna's Tatastha Shakti Bheda Abheda Prakash. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, to explain the constitutional position of living entity is that he is a servant of Krishna. He is one with Krishna, at the same time he is not Krishna. Very nice, very beautiful verse. You can read this in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So anyway, very simple meaning of Swamsha means Paramatma, who is there in your heart, my heart, and those who are all hearing. And at the same time, Vibhinamsha means our soul. Is that clear, Partha Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Prabhuji, what about the other incarnations?
All incarnations, they are playing the role on behalf of Krishna. Krishna is the origin of all incarnations. All incarnations appear. It says, Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata. Abhyuthanam Dharmasya Tadatmanam Sacham. Wherever there's a decline in religious principles, I appear. And he'll accept a particular avatar to finish that mission or to do that job. So all the avatars are not different from Krishna, but they appear for a specific reason. But when you say Krishna, all the avatars are in Krishna. That is what Bhagavatam explains.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. So you should not take Krishna to be like any avatar. Krishna is an avatar because he comes in the line of avatar, but Krishna is actually avatari, from whom all the avatars come. He's considered, or he's said, fountainhead of all avatars. That means when Krishna comes to this world, he only comes in the one day of Brahma. Within Krishna, there are all the avatars within him. You can say Rama, Vaman, Vara, Narayan, Parshuram, you name it. All the incarnations are within the body of Krishna. To make it more clear. Okay, any other questions? Anybody would like to ask? Now, this fact may not be understood for those who have not studied Bhagavatam. So it's only when you study Bhagavatam under the guidance of devotees, this fact can be revealed to you. Otherwise, it remains a mystery. Because even in the Indian community, they say, oh, any avatar is not the same. No, it's not the same. There's a very big difference. Krishna is cause of all causes. That's why it says, Ishvara Parma Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadi Radha Govinda Sarva Karana. Even this verse is quoted here in Bhagavad Gita by Prabhupada, if I am not wrong, in 2.2. Just go to 2.2. Anybody likes to try? Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, verse number 2, go to the purport. The last verse quoted in italics. Anybody has Bhagavad Gita in the hand? I'll read the verse if you have difficulty. Ete chamsha kalopamsha krishnastu bhagavan swayam indrari vyakulam lokam midyandi yuge yuge. Translation. All the lists of the incarnations of Godhead submitted herewith are either plenary expansions or parts of the plenary expansions of the Supreme Godhead, but Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Very clear. Okay, we move forward. Path Prem, is it okay? I think you know the verse.
Yes, Prabhuji, yes.
Okay, we go to verse number 7. The points mentioned here. Now here the main figure in this purport is Draupadi. And how Arjun wins Draupadi. So I'll go a bit into a history. Who is Draupadi? Draupadi is also called Krishna, also mentioned in the purport. Krishna is called Krishna. Draupadi is called Krishna. Why? Because she had come for a purpose to help Krishna. Draupadi is like a center figure of Mahabharata. Of course, the main center figure is Krishna, but also Draupadi is there. She appeared to assist Krishna. Her birth is from Yajna, not an ordinary woman. She was born in a Yajna performed by Drupad, King Drupad. Because when Drupad was hurt, when he was defeated by Dronacharya's Sishyas, means the Pandavas defeated Drupad, they tied him up and brought him. We won't go to the whole story. And then he was set free, go back. You and me are equal, go and rule your kingdom. He felt really insulted. And no Kshatriya will ever accept any insult. So he performed a yajna. The whole purpose of yajna was that he wanted a son who will destroy Dronacharya. And it happened so. He got a son whose name is Drashta-Dhumya, also mentioned in the purport. Drashta-Dhumya came out of the fire, equipped with all the powers. And before the yajna, the fire could go off, a lady emerged from her, a very beautiful lady, and that is Draupadi. Draupadi is also called Krishna. So her birth is from Yajna, meant to assist Krishna. And in her time, she was very, very beautiful, extremely beautiful woman. Now, as she grew up, her father knew that the only person suitable to marry her is Arjuna. But everybody knew that at that time, the Pandavas were already burnt in the fire. They were burnt in the palace made up of shellac. And this is the whole the plan of Duryodhana and the whole company, including Dhritarashtra was there. That they thought now the Pandavas are gone, now we'll enjoy the kingdom. Least they did know that actually they had escaped the fire by the mercy of Krishna, by the tunnel made by Vidura. They escaped. They lived in the forest in different ways. Then there was a time when they came to live with a sage known as Domya, who later becomes the priest of the Pandavas. So they started living with Domya. And Domya Rishi, one day got an invitation that there is Draupadi's Swayamvar, and he's going to go there. And he asked the Pandavas, would you like to join me? At that time, the Pandavas was in the disguise of Brahmanas. Even Domya Rishi did not know that these are Pandavas. So they went, all the 5 brothers, they went with Domya, and they attended the Swayamvar. And nobody could win the contest. I was already explained the purport that everyone tried one by one. Nobody could do it. Karna could have done it, but Krishna was also in the assembly, and even Balaram. And Krishna told Draupadi with a gesture that make sure you don't accept Karna. So before he could even try, Draupadi said, I cannot marry anyone who is less than a Kshatriya. And we all know that Karna actually is a Kshatriya, but nobody knew his identity, that he is actually one of the Pandavas. And that he was raised up by a carpenter, so he's considered to be lower than a Kshatriya. So anyway, that's another story. So Arjun, when everyone failed, Drupad, or rather Drashtadyumna, announced that if there is anyone else who would like to try the contest. And then Yudhishthira or Arjun, when they looked at Krishna, Krishna nodded, go ahead. You note that Arjun will not do anything without asking Krishna. And he tried the feat and he won it. He pierced. Though in Mahabharata it's explained in a very simple way, but there are other Mahabharats in which a detail is given. They say that actually there was a pole in which you carry your bow. You go up the pole right till the top. And then on the top, you have to look down into the water, which is in the ground. And the pole was sharp. If you try to bend more, it can pierce your stomach. So you'll see the reflection in the water of the fish and then shoot while holding the bow upwards. And the arrow should pierce the eye, not the fish, right into the eye of the fish. And Arjun did it. And he's also explained that at that time, nobody could recognize that this is Arjun. There's a reason why. Because in those days, since it was Dwapar Yuga, and why? Because they were living in an ashram. Every day morning, the Brahmanas would perform yajna. So the body is already dark. When you sit near the yajna for a long time, your body becomes dark because of the ash. So while he was climbing up, Krishna is very clever. Krishna tells Indra in the heavens that look at your son. He looks so dark, and Draupadi looks so beautiful. So Indra put his heavenly beauty in Arjun, and Arjun started glowing while he was halfway on the mast. And then he pierced the fish. When he came down, still nobody could recognize Arjun. And then the other people, they argued, oh, this was meant for the Kshatriyas. Why did you allow Brahmanas? And if he should fight with us, and Arjun fought with them. Even Bhima helped him. In this way, Draupadi was won. So very beautiful incident in the Mahabharata. Now you'll find one crucial point in this incident, that this is the incident from that day onwards. Krishna comes very close to Pandavas for the rest of the life. That was the first incident. Before this, not very close. Before that, Krishna did protect them again and again. But from this particular incident, Krishna became very close to Pandavas, and Pandavas became very close to Krishna. And by Krishna's blessings, Arjuna won it. That's why he mentioned in this particular verse that with my bow and arrow, I could pierce the fish target and thereby gain the hand of Draupadi. Because this feat was something impossible. Nobody can do other than a very powerful archer like Arjuna or Karna. But Drupad, the father of Draupadi, already had in the mind Arjuna. But he was lamenting, now Arjuna is not there. So who is going to do it now? At least he knew that Arjuna was there in the assembly, disguised as Brahmanas. And later on, their identity was revealed. Because after winning Draupadi, when they took her to Mother Kunti was worshipping. And her attention was in the deity. So he told the mother, today we have brought something very nice, very beautiful. And Draupadi, Kunti didn't know that that subject or that beautiful thing is a woman. They thought maybe they brought some alms. So she said, share it equally among yours. Now, in those days, the word of honor was kept, not like Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, people don't keep a word of honor. They change their language. But in those days, when something was said, it had to be done and followed. So, Draupadi had to marry all five of them. And there was a very big confusion. So Krishna came there, and Krishna explained to Draupadi that it is you who had asked for 5 husbands. It's not your fault. So Draupadi said, how? She said, in the previous life, you were worshipper of Lord Shiva, and you told Shiva that I want a most religious husband. I want a most powerful archer. I want a most powerful person by body. I want my husband to be most handsome. I want my husband to be most learned. And all these 5 qualities cannot be in one person. So Krishna said, because you asked 5, Lord Shiva agreed, yes, you will get them. Now when he said get them, that means not him, them means 5 of them. So don't lament, accept these 5 husbands. This is why Draupadi became a chaste wife of 5 husbands. And in the Vedic history, there's no one like Draupadi, very, very special. And this Arjuna is lamenting in this verse that without Krishna, he remembers how he won Draupadi. And this is what he's explaining to Yudhishthira. So you can read in detail in Mahabharata about the whole incident. Very, very exciting incident, which brings Pandavas and Krishna, Balaram, very, very close. Even Balaram was very pleased after the incident of Draupadi's Swayamvar, because he realized, oh, Kunti's sons are all alive. He was very, very happy. Because to most people, they thought the Pandavas are dead. The Pandavas were alive. And Duryodhana and his evil company had tried to burn them in the house of Shalak. But Krishna protected them. That's why there's the famous words, Mare Krishna Rake Krishna Mare Ke. They lived and they lived even up to Krishna. When Krishna left, even the Pandavas left. This was the close combination of the relationship between Pandavas and Krishna. Now the time is also up. Hare Krishna. If anyone has any additions, any corrections, or any questions, please ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Mine is just to admire the way Srila Prabhupada is reminding us that our relationship is in this world is just temporary, and that our only that only Shri Krishna is our only hope and our real relationship. That's from the text 6, that the way
Yes.
Arjuna is saying that, the way,
Open First
yeah.
line, he says, factually
Yeah.
for a living being, there is no one dearer than the Lord. If you
Yes.
come closer to Krishna, if you know Krishna more through devotional service, Krishna will become so dear to you that you will not like anyone in this world except Krishna.
Krishna, yeah.
And you can read this in detail in the 7th canto. Prahlad Maharaj explains the same point. Nate Swartagatim hi Vishnu Durasaya Pahiratmanena. That people do not know the self-interest, he should lie in Vishnu, means Krishna, not anyone else. But we, due to illusion energy, we give our love to so many objects, so many people, and we always get cheated or let down. And even if we are not let down, we are here temporary, and then we have to give up. Whereas if you build a relationship with Krishna, and that's an eternal bond, it will live with you life after life. And that is the meaning.
But Prabhuji, just thinking that it's also a little difficult for us, who got families and responsibilities, and I don't know how to link that.
Well, there are two ways to deal with it. Even if you have a very good family, you should know that what Prabhupada is saying, not I am saying. Prabhupada says in the Bhagavad Gita also, Jatashi Dhruvam Mrityu Dhruvam Janma Mritasya. Anyone who has taken a birth is going to die. And anyone who has died is going to take a birth again. So even if anyone is dear to you or you are dear to everyone, we all have to empty the house. You know the meaning of the empty the house? Slowly, slowly we have to go away. If you go to the 6th canto, Narad Muni explains, not Narad Muni, Angira Muni explains to King Chitraketu, like if you build a sand castle, generally we build sand castle near the beach, isn't it? And how long is it going to stay?
Yeah.
You can make a huge sand castle. Next day you will come, you won't find it there.
Yeah.
It will be gone. If you try to find out each sand particle is already mixed in the ocean. In the same way, every living entity, even within one's family, they are going to be temporary. That is a fact. But due to attachment, of course, while we are in the world, we have to keep up our relationship as per the scriptures. For example, if you are a wife, you are a husband, you're a child, or a daughter, or a son, whatever you have to keep up that relation according to the Vedic way of life and keep up that culture of love. But beyond all these loving cultures and relationship, the highest love is meant to be for Krishna. That is the meaning. If you study a bit of Christianity, there's a very famous prayer. There's a prayer in which says, let me be the winner in the eyes of the Lord before I become the winner in the eyes of the world. So whose love are we supposed to win the most is Krishna, not everyone else.
Yes.
I can give you your example. I forget the name of your daughter who got married.
Kushbu.
Kushbu.
Yes.
Okay, now you raised Kushbu, isn't it? So many years.
Yes.
Very dear to you, and I'm sure she's very dear to you. But is she with you now?
No.
She's gone to her home,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes.
That's one example I'm citing. That like I also have two daughters. I am a father of two daughters, and I know that I used to really love them. But now they're married. They have their own husbands. They have their own children. Another example I can give, my own example. Like I have a son, and of course, every mother likes their son more than daughters,
Yeah.
and every father likes daughters. It's always like that. Now, let's say he got married, means he has a wife. So he has love for the mother and the wife. Now he has a daughter and a son. Now again, the love is divided.
Divided. Yes.
You have love, but it becomes divided. You have to give it in portion. You cannot give all love to them. But when you talk of giving all love, you give to Krishna. That is the meaning.
Okay.
And Krishna's love is eternal. It never goes away. Never becomes old, never becomes lesser. In our family relations, sometimes relations go stronger, weaker. But in the relationship with Krishna, it increases and increases and increases. That's why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. The love of Krishna will increase day by day if you chant your rounds properly. Very clear. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
All right.
Hare Krishna, is there anyone who has a comment or any question to ask?
Okay, if there are no questions.
Then Hare Krishna, Path Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for your time and precious class. So I request everyone, please unmute yourself and chant Hare Krishna mantra for glorification of His grace, Rukma Prabhuji. Please join. Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Krishna.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Hare.
Vancha kalpa
Kripa Sindhu Patitanam
Pavanebhyo
Namo Namah.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Rukma Prabhuji ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, everyone. Same time, same place tomorrow.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Where is Kirtika Mataji?
Kritika Mataji is not. Let me stop recording.
Okay.